As Charlie Chase and many others recall, Puerto Rican rappers always knew that they were operating in a black world. However, down they felt and were made to feel with the homies, however much they loved the music. The angry question, "What the fuck are you doing here, Puerto Rican?" still resonates in their memory. Charlie tells vividly of the times when he barely escaped an ass-kicking if he dared venture behind the ropes at the early jams, and when the black rappers and fans simply would not believe that he was actually responsible for the sounds and rhythms he came up with as DJ with Cold Crush. "No way, it can't be, you're not even black, you're Puerto Rican." At the same time, a lot of the early Puerto Rocks remember how in the privacy of the family they were warned to stay away from Los Morenos, or at least to watch out for them, words which were often accompanied by the silent grimace of racial prejudice.
I was playing break beats in my house, and I'm making all kinds of noise, and I'm driving my mother crazy. And people that would come to my house, or sometimes I bring my set out into the park. People would criticize me, Latinos especially. Like they would tell me, "What are you doing playing that Jungle Bunny music?" Like they were really opposed to me doing this. Because they said, "You're Latino, do what you're supposed to do." And it's like, supposed to do, I didn't know I was supposed to do anything. But I was getting a lot of flack from Latinos for doing what I was doing. But I ignored it, I basically didn't listen to them. I just put my blinders on and just kept on my path. I don't know, they were closed-minded. You have to understand, in 75, there was a completely different frame of mind when it came to things. Everybody was into Hector Lavoe.
We have a wide age demographic here.
In contact with it. So I didn't know. My mother, though, thought for sure, ¿por qué está con esos cocolos? Con esos negros? Why you want to be black? And it's like, oh God. And to this day, my daughter's there, Anna, and she'll tell you, "Yep, grandma's racist." And we're Colombian, we're Afro-Colombians. Epa, Colombia. And so it was really, difficult for me to deal with that because I'm not racist. And even my white
Latino, it doesn't matter. Latinos weren't involved in hip hop directly that much in the early days of hip hop.
They weren't.
One or two.
Okay.
One or two. My partner, Disco Wiz, my first DJ partner in hip hop, he used to beat up people in the street for telling them, "Why you hanging with them niggas? Why you hanging with morenos?"
Well, he was what, Puerto Rican?
He was Puerto Rican, half Cuban.
Okay.
And we were together every day, like brothers, you know what I mean? Dressed, everything, you know what I mean? And he would always catch flack from Puerto Ricans for being with me, you know what I mean? And he'd knock them the fuck out, you know what I mean? But, so when in like 78, 79, more Latinos started migrating toward hip hop, you know what I mean, dancing as B-boys and stuff. They kind of changed the whole fabric of the breakdancing thing as B-boys, but it was a gradual thing as far as Puerto Ricans getting involved into hip hop. Puerto Rico was playing congas and timbales in the park while we was playing turntables. All right, so they are guests.
Sure.
In the hip hop.
So would you say that Lord Jamar is a guest?
Those guys. And they tell you, Prince Whipper Whip, Charlie Chase, Tito, Disco Wiz, they all tell you it was racism. Puerto Ricans used to get at them like, "Why you hanging with the morenos? Why you trying to act like and dress like the morenos? Why you talking like them?" Because they spoke a lot of Spanish back then. Mira this. Yeah. Then with the blacks is like, "Yo, why is he here? Why Jose is here? Why he not playing with a salsa band or something? Why he not doing merengue?" They said, "Nah, he cool. He with us. He learning." That's how that went. That's the part they're not telling you. Those are the details. Right. Hip hop didn't have a name, and it existed for like 5 to 7 years before a Latino got into it. After them came the whites with Disco Fever. The owner of the Disco Fever was the first.
It diluted in people's minds and all this type of shit. Like, we know that, yes, in New York City, Puerto Ricans and Black Americans live side by side. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there was beef at times. It wasn't all gravy and shit like that. There was race or bigotry in both directions.
Yep.
But I feel like the Puerto Ricans that was fucking around in hip hop was pioneers amongst Puerto Ricans, because most Puerto Ricans didn't fuck with hip hop. Am I correct?
You're exact on that one. You know, it was a lot that didn't.
Right.
I remember.
Can I say this though? I think after the blackout in '77, I think that was the new change in direction of a lot of association, because I know at 64, I know back in 72, 73, 74, you couldn't even mess with a Hispanic chick. You would actually get beat down.
You get your ass kicked.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
Mean, you could, or you didn't go on Eagle Avenue because you get your sneakers hung up on the line. I mean,
and could a Spanish dude come mess with a black chick at that time?
Right, you couldn't do that.
All right.
A lot of people didn't want to go to Millbrook Project, where Dr. Dust come from. You know, so I mean, like, Whip grew up further than me, and my uncle lived in Soundview, so I knew about Cozy Corner, 123 Park, and all that with Cool D, and God bless Tyrone, the mixologist who passed last week. And then, you know, that's the set that Mario used. But the Bronx was big, and all I know is that at a certain point, when you had the Savage Skulls and the Black Spades and the Nomads and the Ghetto Brothers and all that, you couldn't mess with no Hispanic chick. And if you did, it was like being secret. Like, guess who's coming to dinner? With Sidney Poitier. Am I right or wrong, Whip? Come on.
I remember the picking. I mean, with me, it was never an issue. But what I'm saying, I've seen a lot of stories. I remember, who was it? I had a friend, yo, and he would like.